I finally got to sit down and watch Game of Death for the first time, starring Bruce Lee. It was a film that he did after Enter the Dragon and before Enter the Dragon, because he had a schedule and he had to, you know, work on Game of Death and then do Enter the Dragon and then go back to working for Game of Death. I don't know, but essentially, that was his last movie he did, and they found him dead afterwards with in someone's hotel or someone's house. And he died after taking an aspirin for his headache that he said he had, and it malfunctioned with his brain, and he unfortunately passed away. Now, the director of Game of Death, who was working with Bruce, I guess, on the writing, and, well, Bruce was like the main stunt coordinator, because that's what he wanted to do, and he only did a few scenes for each of the times he's worked on it. Now, it's understandable that if you're going to make a movie like that, and you know your star suddenly dies, it kind of in a way does kind of make sense if you want to finish the movie and work a way around it the best you can. You're not going to get the best reception, but what can you do? One of the most famous kung fu actors just automatically died. You're probably going to find some way to loop that around and make Bruce's work not so. Make sure it's not in vain, and that's understandable. But after watching it, I have to question that a little bit, because you know they got an extra actor, like they covered his face most of the film, and you know, every time they do show his face, it's not that big of a deal. It's just the editing that really turned me off in this movie, and I don't know if the story's the same. No, it shouldn't be, because I think the story originally was Bruce Lee goes and something bad happens. We don't know what, but they filmed what they filmed, and what we're supposed to assume is he's going in this tower, and each and every floor there's a new challenger, and they get stronger and stronger and stronger, and Bruce Lee adapts to their fighting and then goes and takes down the big bad guy, and it just sounds like a fun film. And whatever the shots they did for that, it looked amazing. It looked great when Bruce was on the screen, and it was directed right. But the whole entire movie otherwise doesn't make sense, or doesn't really fit or connect with the shots that it was trying to do. But I'm going to assume that it was a new script. And in this one, they started to reuse a lot of Bruce Lee's old footage. I don't know if it's copyrighted, you know, or something to use the footage. They got away with it. I don't know. Maybe Bruce allowed it. I don't know. But after his death, they decided to reuse a lot of his fight scenes in a bunch of different movies that he's worked on before, and throw it in there just because, you know, like, oh, this is a Bruce Lee movie. We got to throw as much Bruce Lee as we can. But it's kind of like Godzilla's Revenge, that one standout movie where it's just Godzuki speaking to a Japanese kid, and he's like, if you want to beat the bullies, watch my dad Godzilla fight these monsters in the distance. And all of a sudden it's like different movies, like the first Godzilla, or like Godzilla Raids Again, or just like Godzilla versus Megalon, but the only thing that's original in that movie is just Godzuki and the kid going, oh, look at that, and just, you know, reuse footage and whatnot. So that's kind of what they did with this one. This is Bruce Lee's Godzilla's Revenge, in a way, if that makes sense at all. The director, I felt like he disrespected him in some sort of way, because not only did he use like a lot of Bruce Lee scenes, but every time a character goes up to the Bruce Lee replacement actor, they always show like a really bad quality fuzzy image of like Bruce or someone reacting, or they would put a cardboard cutout and edit that into the movie on a mirror to where the guy's sitting there, but you can obviously, like a cardboard cutout, Bruce Lee just going like that. And, you know, the bad guy's right behind him trying to intimidate him, and I guess that's what he was trying to do, but it just looks so sloppy, and it's obviously sloppy, and even back in the 70s, you could tell that it was sloppy, and it feels disrespectful. And the biggest disrespect is that, okay, let me build you up to the biggest disrespect. So the movie is about Bruce, or somebody playing, like, Bruce Lee, but instead of Bruce Lee making Way of the Dragon, it's somebody else making it. It's just Bruce Lee with a different name, and he's a big Hollywood actor now. And so, for some reason, a bunch of mobsters want to kill him for money reasons, or they were not impressed by his sales, or I honestly do forget. But it was something very petty, and they were threatening him. And essentially, they try to kill him, and they almost succeed. And one of his movie shots, which was the final scene in Fist of Fury, he jumps, he gets shot, and, he falls over, and, makeup applied and whatnot. And apparently, someone actually shot the Bruce Lee character, and he goes off to hospital, and he's like, I'm not gonna, if they're gonna try to kill me again if they know I'm alive, so I'm gonna change my name and try to fix this problem, and then I'll resort back to I'm just alive and whatnot. So they do that, and they show a funeral scene, and it's starting to look oddly familiar because it's Bruce Lee's actual funeral, and they have the balls to show Bruce Lee's actual corpse in the casket for entertainment value for the movie. That's what they do. Bruce would probably never allow something like that ever to happen. I don't think any rational human being would ever allow something like that to happen, but that's what they did. And that, to me, is the biggest disrespect. And whatever was supposed to be the movie, like I said, doesn't connect very well. And, he gets his revenge. He goes out and seeks out the people. And, I'm losing track of thought because more of my brain cells are dying just by thinking about this damn movie. So he finds them, and he goes, and apparently he has to go to the big bad building. And for some reason, that's the tower. And then all of a sudden, Bruce Lee actually appears on screen. And then the movie goes from the slow crawl, boring, just unentertaining, not very good martial arts. It's not Bruce Lee. It's fuzzy looking. It looks too suburban for... It just doesn't make sense. The whole plot... They're trying to kill an actor because the actor doesn't like them. What kind of lazy ass... It must be a slow day with the mobsters. I have no fucking clue. But essentially, you got your big actors in there. You got, what was his name? Bob Wall. You got Bob Wall. And you got the guy who trained Bruce Lee with the nunchucks. That's why on Enter the Dragon you see him with the nunchuck. And, so on and so forth. And every scene with Bruce Lee himself is a miracle to watch because his actual scenes for the movie are the most entertaining part of the movie. And every time I look at those scenes in like compilations, or even after watching this movie, when it finally got to Bruce Lee, I was like, thank God, it took an hour and a half for it to get here. Let's see how it works. And he did beautifully. Him and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, wonderful fight. It just so much it's so good. It's so good. I'm tired. I can't even say athletic. Or water. Just in case I embarrass myself for not speaking out the term, I'm just going to continue. I'm very awkward. I am not very good with the camera, so I'm going to mess up a lot. And you know what? Whatever. I'm just going to... End of the movie. So he does that, and, he gets his revenge, and he goes in on top of the building, and they use some more, like, establishing, like, stock shots of Bruce Lee and whatnot, and the film ends there. Now, the last 30 minutes of this movie is pretty entertaining, but the majority of it is big disrespect to Bruce Lee and his legacy, and that doesn't bode well. It's not a movie I'll ever watch again, but I will watch those scenes he actually did over and over again, because there's a potential for one of the greatest Bruce Lee movies there. But the director, I guess, decided to get greedy and use Bruce Lee's name as something of, just trying to profit off that. And that's sad. And even worked with Bruce Lee and they did have a good connection. I just don't know if this was a direct... I don't know. The movie's not great, unfortunately, and, yeah, I'm making a late-night late-night review, talking about Game of Death. Gee, I'm messing this all up. Game of Death, not a good movie to watch. Watch Fist of Fury. Watch The Big Boss. And watch Into the Dragon, because those movies are 1,000 times better than what a director reaching for profit will ever establish with Bruce Lee. So, yeah. Bad grammar aside, I'm thinking off the top of my head right now, and I'm not the best at that. So, yeah. If you were wanting to watch Game of Death, I'm not going to tell you to not watch it, but just to let you know, you'll be very bored, very saddened by the disrespect, and you'll just, at the end of the day, even with Bruce Lee's scenes in it, it's not a very good movie. So yeah, thank you all very much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye, ladies and gentlemen.